Welcome to Smart Parks Forward on the Daily Parks and Rec Show, hosted by Dave Ramirez, live every second and fourth Monday of the month. Sponsored by Outdoor Link, where we explore the technology, ideas, and innovations helping parks become smarter, more connected, and more impactful. Let's dive into the future of parks and recreation. In this episode, Dave Ramirez sits down with Kelsey Mears and Charles Ryan from Marion County Parks and Recreation to discuss how smart technology is improving park operations, increasing efficiency, enhancing safety, and creating stronger community experiences.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Smart Parks Forward. My name is Dave Ramirez. I'll be your host this afternoon for the show. The show is part of the DPRS network, the Daily Parks and Rec Show Network, talking all parks and recreation, all different aspects. I'm here, and like I said, gladly part and sponsored by Outdoor Link. A little bit about myself, my career. I am a 32-year Parks and Rec veteran, now retired, and from Tampa, Florida. And now I'm the National Parks and Rec Specialist and Vice President of Business Development for Outdoor Link. So I am still, my career continues in Parks and Recreation, just on the other side. And I am just, I'm glad to be able to do that and work with Parks and Rec professionals from across the country. So very, very cool stuff that's happening here with Outdoor Link and DPRS. And we're going to have a great show today. To go ahead and give you a little bit of details about this show. This show is about leadership. It's about innovation and impact. In every episode, we'll explore our guests' career journey, how they get started, the lessons they've learned, and the challenges they've overcome along the way. We'll also dive into how they're using smart technology to improve operations, increase efficiency, enhance safety, and better serve their communities. And of course, we'll wrap up this episode, like all my episodes, with a few stories from the field. Because if you work or know Parks and Rec, you know there's always a story to tell. So if I could go ahead before we move on to the ads, Jovi, if you could put on our 1,000 YouTube ad real quick. I want to just sort of focus on that. We have a goal here at the network to go ahead and get 1,000 subscribers so we can start doing some live call-in type features with our platform. So do us a favor. Go ahead and like, follow, and share the Daily Parks and Rec Show, DPRS Network. Go ahead and go to YouTube and subscribe to us. That'll help us meet our goal so we can go ahead and get that live interaction with our viewers. We are almost there. So please go ahead, check us out there and subscribe. With that being said, let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to share who our guests are today. I got two guests. Kelsey Mears, who's the Assistant Parks and Rec Director, and Charles Ryan, the Operations Manager with Marion County, Florida. So we're going to have a great show today. Stay tuned. Going to show you a few ads, and we'll be right back.
The future of Parks and Recreation isn't coming, it's already here. Across communities everywhere, technology is transforming how parks connect, engage, and serve the people who rely on them. From smart amenities and connected infrastructure to real-time data and innovative solutions, a new generation of parks is taking shape. Welcome to Smart Parks Forward, presented by DPRS Media Network and co-produced by Outdoor Link. Each episode brings you the leaders, innovators, and visionaries driving the future of parks and recreation. Discover groundbreaking ideas, real-world success stories, and the technologies helping agencies create safer, smarter, and more connected communities. Because great parks don't just improve spaces, they improve lives. The future is connected. The future is intelligent. The future is now. This is Smart Parks Forward.
All right, man. That is the new ad. I didn't even realize that was my voice behind that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. We are back. Charles and Kelsey, welcome to Smart Parks Forward.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, we're going to go ahead and just jump in a little bit here. We'll start with Kelsey. I want you guys to share a little bit about your Parks and Rec story, how you got into the field. Tell us a little bit about Marion County, Florida, Parks and Rec Department, and whatever else you want to share, a little bit about yourselves, a little bit of background.
Parks and Rec kid. So I grew up in school or in the summer going to our community center there. Later on, not really sure what I wanted to do. Still wanted to be in athletics of some sort. So I took a part-time job, t-ball coaching and lining baseball fields in North Carolina when I'd moved there. And after a while, just kind of got into the rec side of things and really found a passion for helping the kids, being more involved. And then that kind of just expanded into aquatics, into parks. And now I'm 25 years later in Parks and Recreation, and I've done a little bit of everything at this point. So nothing really kind of surprises me. A little bit about our department. We have 75 employees. We oversee over 3,200 acres. Some of that could be state land. Some of that could be forestry. We just kind of manage a whole plethora of different types of parks. We also oversee the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion, which is a premier event venue here in Marion County that's been here for a long time. And then we also have the Marion County Airport.
So the airport is under your division. That's pretty wild. Again, I've been to Marion County, come and seen you guys up there, man. What a really cool community you guys have. Definitely unique. Charles, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk a little bit more about equestrian and everything else that's going on over in Marion.
Good, because I didn't think she was ever going to let me talk. No, I'm a Marion County native, born and raised here. Unlike Kelsey, I wasn't a Parks and Rec kid. We luckily when I grew up, we grew up in a really rural area here, so we had a lot to occupy ourselves, and our friends around. I became a single father when my kids were very early age. So parks, I left a high-paying job to spend the time with my kids. And they were both young at the time. So parks just became an important factor of our lives. We didn't have the money to go out everywhere and do the things. So we went kite flying and picnics and all the parks around here. So the parks here in Marion County are special to me because my kids learned how to ride their bicycles here. I would never be one to duct tape my kids' feet to the pedals, but it may have happened once or twice. But, so it became a huge part of the support that me and my family shared, my kids shared. So I wasn't even in the Parks and Recreation department then. And then after a while, I had the opportunity to come over here to make the same impact to others that it made on us. So I jumped at it. So I've been in Parks and Rec now for about 13 years with this department. And it's been the best move I've ever made.
That's, a great story there, because this shows how important parks are, and in your life with your kids when they were younger, it was pivotal. for you to raise them. So that's a great story to share. Thank you. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about operations manager on your role, man. What are you overseeing and what are you doing?
Well, I oversee over 2,600 of those acres she was talking about before. And me and my team focus on the day-to-day operations of the parks to make sure that they're safe, to make sure that, and we have as you've seen over here, our parks are very unique. That's one of the biggest challenges that we have. We have everything between natural areas, the waterfront with boat ramps and so forth. We have playgrounds. We've got conservation areas. So we're all over the place. So that's kind of what me and my team do. It's that day-to-day operations to make sure that they're not only aesthetically pleasing, but they're safe and functional.
Well, and there's a lot to cover out there for sure. Marion County, for folks that don't know anything about Marion County, I love when I'm driving in, I see the signs, I see the bridge with the equestrian background across the top there. You had mentioned the pavilion, Kelsey, over there. Share a little bit about what's happening over there. What does that host and whatnot?
So the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion is one of the premier in the state of Florida. It has been since the 50s, actually, for hosting equestrian events. We just had the Tampa Bull Bash actually just came up here and hosted their second year. So they had a bull riding event, and then they had Gary Allen playing live after it. This weekend, we actually have the Soul Rodeo, which will be the first one that we've hosted here, and that one's completely sold out. So we do a huge amount of equestrian agriculture events. We have our Southeastern Youth Fair that takes about 2 weeks for them to move in. You'll have steer shows and sales, hog shows and sales. Different things are going on with our youth from our 4-H and our FFA. But overall, that venue has been a premier event space for Marion County for a very long time. Charles even showed there when he was little. But it has been a home to a lot of people. One of the best parts of that location is everybody has a story that's tied to it. Anybody that comes and visits, our staff there get to hear stories all the time of when their kids are now seeing something that they were a part of and their grandparents brought them there. So we love when we get to connect the intergenerationals to the same space. And we get to, again, highlight some of the key things that make Marion County unique, and that is our agriculture. So,
well, and then you have that, and then you got your sports, which you guys host a lot of tournament play and whatnot there. You got your rec programs, you guys, and then you're so close to Ocala, so you're working with them as well. So talking about it's a well-rounded department. Guys, and throwing in an airport, that's just something, who would have thought? You know what I'm saying?
Recreational flies. So we do actually have 2 airports here in Marion County. We have the city of Ocala has an international airport, which they actually do a lot. That's right across from the Ocala Breeders. So, and they do bring in a lot of people that are coming to Ocala for the horse sales and stuff like that. Whereas the Marion County Airport is meant for that recreational flying. The people who still want to get out there and tinker on their prop jobs. And it's a really amazing community out there. Those people come together every single day and just kind of hang out, and they all have a love and a passion for what they do. We have a couple of businesses that are out there that do some drone A&I, a little bit of different things that happen out there that are a little questionable sometimes. We have a lot of parachute testing that goes on out there. So a lot of people don't know that it used to be an Army base back in the 50s, and that's when it got handed over to Marion County. So we have over 100 people that call that home with our tenants, and then we have people flying in every single day using our runways, getting gas, and maybe going to different parts of Marion County while they're here on their visit. Some people will fly in. We like to call it the $100 hamburger, just to go eat somewhere locally. So
that's great. That is so cool. It just expands when you think Parks and Rec. A lot of folks focus on, after school and sports and that kind of stuff. You guys got it all going on over there. So I call you guys the dynamic duo because you guys have taught some classes and do a lot of the professional side with FRPA and other organizations. talk a little bit about you guys on the professional side. Certifications. What do you guys do outside? That help you in your role.
You can go ahead, Kelsey. You can start with this one. Don't kick me under the table and try to tell me it's my turn. Go.
So, lots of certifications between the two of us, especially over the years, if you compounded everything. But currently, used to have just about anything in aquatics you could think of. Luckily, we don't have any swimming pools here, so I've got to let those ones kind of die down for now. But CPRP, different Florida Coaching Association. There's a lot of kind of different things that I know that I do, but within our department, we have arborists on staff, we have landscape architects. We have a true department of professionals that kind of run the gambit to make sure that we're able to serve our community to the best of our ability.
Yeah, like for myself, like I said, I came into the parks department. I wasn't sure I fit or I needed to stay. It took me about 3 days to realize this is where I needed to be. So I started going for any certifications I could get that would help me out in my career and to help my team out. So like I got my, my CPRP, and then I became a CPR first aid AED trainer so that we could help train, for the safety aspects, like you said. We have swim areas, we have, multiple boat ramps, and we have a lot of acreage. So when we're looking at parks like that, it's always important. We require our entire team to be trained and certified, like in CPR and first aid. So it really helped having internal training. I have my CPSI, and I have just recently became a playground maintenance instructor for the playground maintenance.
Second one in the state.
Oh, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Well, again, safety. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure the playgrounds are safe for the kids to be on. And somebody's got to do that. So, besides everything else that's on your plate, Charles, let's throw that on there too, right? And just continue to build and grow.
It is, but when that gets added to your plate, that's a purpose.
Yes.
I mean, and I'll be honest, it's one of these things. There's been times in my career, and I had to go to Kelsey about it a couple of years ago. I don't function well unless I have that purpose. And finding that purpose for what we do, I think that's what keeps us all in it.
Yeah.
So having that on the plate, that's what keeps us here, though.
That's right. Well, again, it's called, having facilities that are safe and desirable for folks to participate on and use. And if they're not, that's just empty space and lands, and that's just useless. And you want to make it right, and you talked about, the boat ramps and the water feet, you got water, you got parks, you got open land. It's an amazing community which you guys got over there. So before we take our first break, though, I always like to go ahead and ask, how we connected. You know what I'm saying? Because, one thing about the Florida Recreation Park Association, it does bring people together from the state, once a year. And it's like a family reunion, honestly, when we do get together. But, man, I'm just trying to think, Kelsey, I think you and I probably met before Charles and I did at conference. And then, I think Charles and I met at a Park Institute event that we had, Gosh, I couldn't even throw the years out. You guys remember how long ago?
12 years ago, Dave. 12 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. It has, but the event, that once a year event that brings the minds of Parks and Rec from all around the state to one place. What a great time. I say a great time because, it's fun. We get to see each other and catch up with each other, but we're also bouncing ideas and talking about what's going on, the pain points, the good stuff, we quote unquote steal it from each other. You know what I'm saying? And hey, you guys, when I was with Hillsborough County, you came and spent the day up here with me to check out some of the stuff that I had going on. And, I felt good about that because, you guys knew I was going to be straight with you and just tell you, this is it. You want to talk about that new facility that you guys just opened up a few months ago?
Well, if it doesn't turn out the way expected, we aren't blaming you.
But see, I no longer. That's not my role anymore. So you can't hold that on me.
We can still blame you.
There's still a source that we're going to talk about.
But Charles, when I came up and saw you a few weeks ago, man, that new sports fields that you put up out there is beautiful. Really, really nice.
No, absolutely. To have that flat playable surface that you can utilize, our Florida weather, how it goes. You go from 0 to 12 inches of rain in 30 minutes. I mean, that's when we came in and seeing you. Literally, it was in the middle of like a typhoon. There was 2 or 3 cars of us.
Yeah.
We had one of our commissioners with us at the time. We had to roll up our pants legs. We walked out on the field, and 15 minutes later it was playable.
Yeah.
To be able to see those things and have those connections, like you said, when we meet and have those connections to be able to go, hey, I think, Dave or so-and-so has this. Let's reach out to him. How'd this work out for you? You can't pay for that. There's you don't get that.
Right.
And to be able to have that trust when you turn around, like you said, it's like, this is what we need to do. Yeah. And it's worked out great for us thus far. I mean, we've had some pretty good weather coming and going, and we actually had it. Our soccer leagues who utilize that field, they also use some of the city's fields as well as some of ours. They shut down when they first started. They shut down every field except for the two new synthetic turf fields. Mm-hmm. Their whole program, they had to shut everything else down except for those 2. Yeah. So, I mean, that right there, to have those kids be able to have a playable surface while everybody else is out, that's immeasurable.
Oh yeah, and then when we start talking technology, we could expand a little bit more on those synthetic fields. You know what I'm saying, and how, like you said, everything else was shut down except those fields. They're still up and running, and it's not, it eliminates the makeup games and practices and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's definitely a game changer. You could be pro grass or pro artificial turf or whatnot. Everybody likes certain things, but you have to look at the big picture sometimes and make that investment. So you can kind of continue programming and try to stay on track and on schedule. So, I get it. So, all right, well, let's do this. We're going to go ahead and we're getting close to that mid-time or break or whatnot. So going to roll a couple of ads. And when we come back, let's talk a little technology in Marion County.
Sounds good.
In today's parks and recreation industry, communication, safety, and efficiency go hand in hand. That's where Outdoor Link comes in, delivering smart technology that empowers city departments and community planners to do more, smarter. Outdoor Link's platform connects and automates everything that keeps your parks running smoothly, from lighting and locks to signage, water features, Wi-Fi, and digital advertising. Control and schedule park lights for safety and energy savings. Remotely manage facility access. Coordinate fountains and splash pads. Provide public connectivity. All from one simple, unified platform, giving you real-time control, data, and cost efficiency. For parks and recreation agencies, that means safer spaces, smarter resource use, faster responses, and stronger community engagement. And behind every great park story is great infrastructure. That's why Outdoor Link proudly supports DPRS Media Company, helping the Daily Parks and Rec Show amplify the voices of professionals shaping our communities every day. Outdoor Link, smart, connected solutions for parks, recreation, and beyond.
They say it's just rec. Just rec, where kids learn to try again. Just rec, where confidence begins. Where teamwork, effort, and fun matter more than trophies. It's not about perfection. It's about participation. It's not just rec. It's where kids learn to love the game and themselves. It's just rec until they learn teamwork for life. It's just rec, but it's everything to them. It's more than rec, it's a movement. It's just rec until you realize it's shaping the next generation. Together, we're not just running programs, we're building a culture of confidence, connection, and community. Join us.
All right, and we're back. Love that last spot about recreation play. It's so important nowadays because, and you guys know, not every young person is going to be a superstar athlete. They just want to get out there and learn, play, be with their friends, and have a good time. And it's a movement. You know what I'm saying? What's happening with the National Alliance there for youth recreation sports, and we're never going to get rid of the competitive side of it, but it's nice to try to cater to everybody that wants to just get out there and use our facilities just to play.
It does, and build those relationships.
That's right. That's right. So, okay. With that being said, we're at the point. We're going to talk a little technology. I'd like to know what you guys over in Marion County are using, and basically what's working, what's evolving, and what do you see for the future? What's coming for technology in Marion County, Florida parks?
Well, very soon we are looking into getting some new rec software. We currently have a software that's not really doing it for us, so meeting the needs, we're very close to signing a contract and getting some new software. We have had a few years of not so great summer camp registration, having to go back old school and do in-person registration, and we're really ready to step up and move to the next technology to actually make it easier for everybody.
And Charles, go ahead.
Yeah, and one thing we do utilize, I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's new technology by any means, but it definitely helps. It's just using technology and being smart, the smart parks aspect. All of our teams have cell phones, and we do work order systems through that. They don't have to come back. We use the geofencing. They don't have to go back to a centralized hub every day. They're able to communicate. We're able to get that through. We're able to work with other departments, internal departments as well, when we're doing work order systems, so they can just pick up their phones easily, click a couple buttons. Work orders go in like facilities or within their own areas or within our own department. So that really saves us a whole lot of time. And we all know how it is, right? You go write that note down on that Post-it note when you're out in the field and you're in the middle of everything. 5 days later, you see the Post-it note and can't remember why you wrote it. So it takes care of all that. So we're able to address situations a lot faster.
I know when before retirement, we added an Oracle system to go ahead and do those reports. And basically the team had their iPads and was able to, take photos, submit reports, maintenance, everything. Such a great tool because it saves a phone call. It saves a visit. It saves, and it's got everything on record. So, and then you could track it, where the stages are for the repairs or whatnot. When it comes to the rec software, as big as you guys are and as much as you guys got going on, you got to have good records, and you got to have a simple or easy way, efficient way to do those summer camp registrations and everything else that's going on. You guys are in summer camp right now, and my gosh, I'm glad you guys are even available to go ahead and come on today, because I know summertime. I remember what summertime was like for me, and it's just that 2-month period or so that it's just a lot of focus is there with the programs and the kids, and everything else sort of goes to the wayside, but it really can't, because you got to make sure everything's staying safe and operational. So, the scheduling stuff, I get it. It's important. Good luck in your research and shopping for that. You know what I'm saying? There are different organizations out there that do it. So, but the system to do the reporting, Charles, that's a game changer. You get that efficiency, and you see things get done and accomplished a lot quicker, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and I'll put a little plug out there too, just because, like the outdoor link system that we're just really getting into these things. And, our last talk you opened my eyes to a whole lot. And of course, budget's not always there, because you have to, anybody who works government know you have to plan at least a year before you actually come up with any of that. So, looking at some of our facilities, we've taken some over from the city. We've taken them over. We haven't really had a hand in building a lot of our own parks. So we take a look at that, and of course, we'd like the infrastructure to be better. We would have liked for it to be planned a little different. So we had a few safety issues, and just trying to keep everybody, like anybody who runs any type of all field or sports, sportsplex understands that somebody always has a code to something, and they're always giving their friends and their coaches or somebody else a code. So lights are running nonstop. We don't pay the lights on all of our facilities, but we still pay for all the repairs and the maintenance of it.
Mm-hmm.
So be able to keep that and have some control over that is imperative. So that was one of the things we don't have the money to retrofit everything, but to be able to add a system fairly inexpensive that we're able to go ahead and put in, give access to the president or a coach, whoever it may be, and still be able to have a running record of when they're getting used, having a scheduling system, being able to put in there without having to retrofit everything you have in your park. Because that cost alone, it would take us years to ever get to that point to retrofit one park. So, and something that I'm still working on, I know I've taught you about a lot, is how we work alongside the leagues, our partners. Because our leagues, they are partners with us.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of them, I'm able to, hey, if you purchase this, I'll pay to have it installed. You take the responsibility of it, we'll have it installed. So that definitely it's still in talks, it's still in works. We've got some new leagues going into it. Some of them are, hey, we want to do this because now we're paying the bill. We want to go ahead and make sure that nobody else from the past is coming over here with that key or that code that never gets changed. I mean, you know how it is. One person out of it changes, they don't even know their bank account sometimes.
Listen, over here back in the day, we had locks on things, and that key. Let's just say the key. When I started my career in 1991, that key was still active when I retired 3 years ago. Okay,
we have the same. We have the
still
same
the
thing.
same key now.
So yes, it's all about making sure the facilities are being used properly, and to have that that monitoring and control capability is important, because it's not, listen, when I was a client of Outdoor Link, the biggest thing with me was the lights were never being turned off. So I was getting those calls every other day, sending somebody out to go flip a switch, paying that overtime, to go ahead and have somebody after 11 p.m. do so. It was not efficient at all. It was wear and tear on those lights. When they burn all night, that's just taking the shelf life on those bulbs, on the old school lights, is being shortened. They are to be used when they need to be used. And that's where the Outdoor Link smart controller helped me out, there. And like I said, the good thing about that controller, not going to plug it too much, but it was, they asked me about what would work. What do Parks and Rec departments need when it comes to a smart controller? And they listened to me, and I went ahead and gave them a laundry list of features. And it's like it's making its way around the country right now. Glad to have you guys on board, and looking forward to expanding out and helping you out some other facilities. But it's just it's a tool that helps you manage, monitor, and control. And you'll see the benefits when it comes to budget times. You'll see that the money that is being saved on a utility bill and whatnot. So.
Yeah, right now, like for us, our electric repair costs this year were astronomical. So when you look at that really contributes to saving all that. It's if you can control how long those things are burning. We got the same problem. We've got lights on. You'll come in at 5 or 6 in the morning, and your lights are still on. And or if you have a park that's surrounded by neighborhoods,
Yep.
They love to have those lights burning all night long.
Yeah, that it's nothing better than getting an email first thing in the morning from the commissioner's office or city manager or whatnot, saying that why were the lights on overnight? You know what I'm saying? We have to explain that. It's not a good situation to be in.
It's not, and we owe it to our neighbors. those subdivisions, those people, and the people driving by on the roads, they're our neighbors. We owe it to them.
Yep.
So I think it's a perfect system. I mean, anything that you can do the control with, and I don't have to get out of the comfort of my house. I like it.
Oh yeah. Well, also too is like there's the features, and I don't know about you all, but when I used to drive and do site visits or whatnot, it would burn me up to see lights on at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So it's that control part where you could go ahead and they can't turn them on until it gets later in the day. But that would eat me up, and I would stop and I would ask. I was like, hey, lights are on 3:00. What's going on? Well, we're real busy and we won't have the time to go and turn the switch on, before practice or the game starts. So we're going to crank them on now. And I'm like, okay, well, those lights burning at 3:00 in the afternoon are costing the taxpayers a lot more money to burn in the middle of the day.
Yeah, what really amazed me though is like that conversation we had about how you can actually utilize it to lock and unlock doors.
Yes.
I came back and told Kelsey that I think that's going to be a game changer.
That right there is again, it's sort of sweeping the country by storm right now. Our friend Kyle from Bartow just went ahead and set up all his remote restroom buildings with those controls, and he's loving it. The contractor that did the installation did a really good job. Actually went over to Bartow, took some photos and some video, and it's working. And we're sharing that out, with everybody now, because you just don't have enough people to go ahead and get to all those sites to go ahead and unlock a door or unlock a door at the end of the night. It's impossible. And then when you leave them open 24/7, you got problems usually the next day.
Right. Yeah. You have people will move into them overnight, as we all know. So, and logistically, like you said, you just can't make it to every place.
Yep.
And nobody has those resources.
You guys are big. You know what I'm saying? That's a big, to get to one side of the county to the other is a hike. It's not like around the corner for you guys.
Larger than what?
Well, unlike Hillsborough, who is not quite as large as the state of Rhode Island, we are larger than the state of Rhode Island.
I know.
So.
No, because just driving to visit you guys and going to one site to another, man, it's like I feel like I got to pack a lunch or something sometimes.
It's an all day just to drive from one park to another park. It is a lot of distance that we have to travel. And
just like everywhere else in Florida, you guys are growing. There's development and everything happening over by you as well. So, the need to be more efficient and using technology is just important because, it's the focus, you know what I'm saying? And I usually say this at the end of the show, but I'll throw it out real quick now. Technology will never replace the person. It's just going to go ahead and help them. And it's going to allow them to focus on what's more important. Kids programming, important. An unlocked door at a nature park, come on. Which one is more important? You want your staff to focus on those kids, technology is going to go ahead and help out and make things easier, so you got some registration and scheduling technology. You got Outdoor Link out there. Are you using anything yet when it comes to like prepping fields and mowing grass and putting lines on fields? And it's all out there. Lightning detection, all of it.
Yeah, we definitely we have lightning detection systems in all of our sportsplexes. We use a turf tank. We purchased a turf tank a couple years ago. Great investment. It's great having one person out there who can do it in a quarter of the time.
Instead of three people taking all day to put hashes on a football field.
Right.
Kelsey, you mentioned about lining ball fields. I remember those days where, I had to pull out of the after school program early to go to another complex to chalk some lines and get fields ready for softball that night.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the turf tank doesn't need lunch. It's great.
So you guys are dabbling into technology in all different ways. And that's what most Parks and Rec departments are doing now. I'm not even going to get into the AI stuff on it because it's here. And I know we're all learning to adapt to it. If you guys want to dip into a little AI, go ahead,
I tell people routinely, chat is my best employee and the cheapest employee that works for me.
I'm actually going to submit my chat in for Employee of the Year.
I did. We have an ideal team player
Yeah.
every year for our entire Marion County. And I did submit my chat for the ideal team player because he never lets me down.
Did you, or did Chat submit Chat in for ideal team
Chat
player?
submitted his own, but it's fine.
Well, again, I already called y'all the dynamic duo, man. You guys definitely got it held down over there and doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And the challenges that are being thrown at you guys are tackling those right away and working with it. Let me go that way though. You know, tell me a little bit of like the challenges and how technology assists with those. We talked a little bit about what was going on before, but let's take it to that next step. What's something major that is happening now that technology is helping out with?
Well, I mean, like we kind of talked about, there's a number of things technology helps out with. But we go back to something as simple as a turf tank. Okay, we don't have the staffing we need in order to maintain the services that are the expectations of services. Mm-hmm. So anytime that you can become more efficient with something, that just helps our services we're able to provide. So as something as minute sounding, and we joke about it, but like the turf tank, that saves hours a day, every single day.
Yep. So
I'm able to put that other person, or the two people I would have used someplace else. Now they're out there grooming. They're out there doing these types of things. Our work order system.
That's what I was saying.
No, go ahead. I don't want to take it.
No,
go ahead.
I think our work order system, especially what we've built within the last, I would say 6 months, because we've been building this system for several years, but we're trying to get to the point where we can pull up any park and tell you exactly to the penny how much has been spent at that park, with staffing, with supplies, anything like that. And that's just going to help us moving forward with any of the challenges that we're seeing that are possibly coming up ahead, of us just getting better at the way that we plan our budgets and how we plan our staffing. Again, just trying to incorporate that as best we can.
Yeah, that even takes away vehicle and equipment depreciation, so that you're able to budget better, plan better for budgeting. So do we utilize all the time all the aspects of the technology? Sometimes we don't even realize it exists until we need it.
Or you only have a couple of staff who are using it. And then information is only as good as what it's being fed. So that's something that we're working on, making sure that all staff are using it all the time, so that we can get the right information. Correct?
Well, to build off that, and you guys are clients of Outdoor Link, there are features that people don't even know about, and when it comes to reports and everything like that, and you build a tool, and you continuously want to improve. You know what I'm saying? So I listen to everybody that on their requests. So if they need an activity log to show something, then I'm going to send that to our engineering team, and we're going to build it in. You know what I'm saying? Whatever we can do to go ahead and keep up with the times, we have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And for a small company, we have a great, we're based here. We're based in the States. We're based in Huntsville, Alabama. So, it's just a call to them and say, okay, Charles and Kelsey, they asked about this in the system. Is that something we can do? You know what I'm saying? And I'd say probably more than 90% of the time, we're going to look at it and probably come up with it. You know what I'm saying? Just because, you guys, we want to make sure we're offering the right product and the best product, to help you guys out and your teams. So
you're not sure what we need to take it on. And once you start diving into it, I know we've talked about that as one idea kind of feeds into another idea, because I know we were talking about even doing RV campgrounds and doing different things out at our livestock pavilion of how we could use Outdoor Link. And instead of having to manually go out there and have somebody turn on the power for that site, we could just go ahead and put it on a whole system. And as soon as somebody checks in, then we could send them their code, and then they could just go ahead and turn their power on when they're ready for it. So I know that's something we are looking for moving into the future, but it's just kind of funny when you start using it and then you start having those great ideas of what else could I use this type of, technology for, and how far it gets expanded out from there.
Oh yeah, and Charles and I had that discussion on my last visit too, man. When I started talking about things hey, splash pads and this and that and that. And it's like, what?
No, I no. He almost got trespassed out of the park for mentioning that.
Oh, good. You did good. I don't say that often, but you did good.
That's the first time you've ever told me that.
Well, here at home, they've put a bunch of splash pads up, and but Hillsborough doesn't do pools. That they do stay, and my buddy here that does the Aquatics Life show, Wes, he's probably hating that from me. I'm saying it, but certain areas just don't dip into it. I think in my case, when I was over here, we would rather go ahead and invest in a pool and let the YMCA sort of run it, and then we would have our time to go do our lessons and whatnot, and not sort of be responsible for the pool. You know what I'm saying? Just, help fund it, let them maintain it, and we use it accordingly per agreement, so that works out nice. It really
great
does.
Partnership, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, all right. Well, you guys are getting on it. That's for sure, man. The technology is there, and I'm sure, I always look forward to coming to visit you guys over in Marion County. So I'm sure there'll be a trip coming up soon again. So, but let's go ahead and switch a little bit of gears. And this is my favorite part of the show is the storytelling segment. Okay. Because not bringing in the television show, Parks and Rec or whatever, but there's always, yes, there, I didn't watch that TV show until I retired. I just refused to do it.
That's why I'm in Parks.
Watching it in episodes to California for these things.
Oh, so, I know.
I personally lived the first episode twice.
Well, I watched it after my career. So, but in Parks and Rec, there's always a story or something that has happened in your career that is memorable, that sticks in your head, something that either it's funny or it's serious or it's just just that moment in your life that we'll never forget. I'm putting it out there to you guys. I don't know, either one of y'all could start first. Share something with me. Share something with the viewers about something that just sticks in your mind in your field, in your career.
Kelsey has a great story to share.
I'm coming back to you, Charles. I don't even think you're getting out of it, man.
I gotta think of something.
So the question is, are we talking bathroom stories? We've all heard the horrors. That's a true stories, every one of them. No, I honestly, I think it is a bathroom story is the funniest part. Is we actually had someone who was homeless that was living in one of our bathrooms here, and he took the utmost upkeep of that bathroom, but he would leave us notes every day to tell us how to treat his bathroom better. Like, we needed better toilet paper. We needed to use Windex instead of whatever we were using because it left streaks on it. I really just appreciated his passion for us maintaining his home at the time. So that one was always really great to think of. And we had a park service worker at the time who used to sing when he would be mowing, and people would come and listen to him sing, but he was the one that took care of that park, and he would let him know how much he appreciated that he sang as he was mowing the football field at Brick City Adventure Park too.
Oh, okay. So okay. Let's recap here. We got somebody that's taken ownership of one of your facilities and gives you guys, a little bit of advice on how you could do better, to maintain it and keep it up, which is cool. At least they're not smashing toilets and that kind of stuff, which we've all dealt with that before.
We do that. We have that issue at one of our parks constantly,
and just
but not that one.
No, and if I could, she was talking about Cougar Park. That's another thing. We went through with technology. I know we're going back, but that was one of the ones that gets vandalized so often. It was talked about between our risk department and our facilities department on whether or not we should close the restroom down at that park that has a single field playground area, basketball court. So we ended up getting timers locks for our bathrooms out there because the same thing. Now we're able to control it, close them down, and knock on wood, that's helped reduce the amount of vandalism we had. I had to circle back.
Yeah, you don't want to close things down like that. It's a shame that it's just a bad group that causes all the grief and it's not everybody. It's just a small percentage.
It is, and you could always see how it would go through. About every 6 months, it would come through.
It's like a cycle.
Yeah, it's a cycle. And RIS did. They said, when's it going to hit that we need to close it down? And I was like, not going to happen.
Never will.
Right.
Never. And they were good with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
it was a park that we didn't plan from the beginning. If we would have, that whole building should have been turned towards the roadway. It's just not designed right.
Yeah, well, that's sometimes you guys we're given things that we're they're sort of grandfathered in the way they are, and you look at it, it's like, what were they thinking? You know, but you do the best you can with what you got, and then find ways to make sure it's staying operable and used the right way. So that's what it takes. And a singing mower guy on the mower, man, I love it. I come to see that. What park is that? I may have to come and visit.
He actually
doesn't
left
work for
us
us anymore.
Ah!
I think he went to Citrus
County.
He's in Citrus County. He ended up.
Oh, okay. Well, I got.
You pay more.
Citrus County is one of my clients, and there's a friend of mine working over there. I'm going to call him. I'm going to ask him if he's there.
Jason
Wall.
Beautiful voice.
You pay extra for that type of service. I mean,
I'm telling you, man, he's got a following. They may be leaving and going to follow him over to Citrus. So Charles, tell me, man, what do you got? You got. Give you a few minutes. I know you jumped in on Kelsey's story, so come on, man. Tell me something.
All right. As you know, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but we have a tubing facility called KP Hole. It's up in Dunellen. Fantastic facility, 4-hour float. If you haven't been there, you need to come there. It's try it out. It's fantastic. That's how you plug it in. So, anyways, when I was a park ranger up there, everybody gets their information off the internet. So I would have fun with it. I would have fun with it. Now, there's dams over there. We haven't had manatees up there a number of years, so forth. But everybody wanted to know about these giant crocodiles that were now the saltwater crocs that were now in this spring-fed river. So we would have fun with it. And then they would always ask, hey, when do we circle back around? So I would go off, and maybe it wasn't great of me, but I would be like, at noon, we reverse the flow so you get to come back. Because we all know that happens with natural rivers. So it's just, don't worry. I think most of them work from Pinellas. I'm not going to lie.
He's not wrong. That's why it's so funny.
Listen, I'm going to plug the KP Hole because I remember it's been a little while, but man, I used to love that float. And you needed to get a ride at the end. It not bring you back. I was aware of that. So, so I knew what was coming at the end of that float. But it's a gorgeous facility, and the river is beautiful. And it's got that, year-round 72 degrees?
72 degrees year-round.
It's
wonderful. It's like a bathtub in the winter. You just don't want to get out.
Now, let me ask you, Charles, what is the line to get into that place on the weekends now? It's how are you managing that? 'Cause I'm sure it's crazy.
It is. We've also implemented our VIP parking because the facility officially opens up at 8:00. We've actually been sold out in the past before the 8:00. We've had enough people to fill the parking lot up before it officially opened. And we do regulate it by the number of parking spots that we have, which is great. Okay. So we do utilize a VIP parking now, so you could go ahead and be guaranteed a parking spot for that day. So that also comes with a discount for a tube, and then like I said, everybody else can get a tubing package. We do, just in case anybody's listening, it is only we don't allow personal floats anymore, and that was just because of the thickness of the tubes, just for safety reasons on the river.
And the trash that it would leave on the river.
Yeah, unfortunately, people would go to, Family Dollar or whatever and buy the little 2 mil thick pool tubes. And about an hour into a 4-hour float, their tube deflates. That makes a horrible time.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And they don't take it with them. They just leave it where it lies. So
I'm pretty sure, if I recall, there's strict rules of what you could bring onto the float as well.
Absolutely. No alcohol, no disposable containers. So if you normally throw it away when you're done with it, it's not permissible on the river.
Yep. I do remember that. And I don't know if I broke the rules back in the day. It's been a few years, but I know I used to get the tube and sort of get the little scuba tank and put it on top with the 25-foot hose and sort of check the bottom out and stuff on some of the float. I don't know if that's allowed in, but
Broken
that's a
every
good time
rule.
back in the day.
In 2 seconds, every.
Well, I could cut.
You're the reason we have the rules.
I was fixing to
Dave.
say that. You're the reason the rules exist, I think.
Okay. I was gonna say I could cut that out afterwards if you like. So well, listen, we're getting to be, see, I told you guys, man, an hour flies, man. We are at that time. So I appreciate you guys coming on board. You guys are great friends and colleagues. And I just appreciate you taking some time out this day in June to go ahead and spend with me and share a little bit about what's happening in Marion County and a little bit about your careers and whatnot. The folks that watch the show, they love to hear, especially young professionals, they love to hear these stories. You know what I'm saying? And I know, all of us being veterans in the field, we don't mind sharing, you know what I'm saying? Because they're the ones that are going to end up taking the roles for us, so let's give it to them. Let's give them the good, the bad, and the ugly, and go for it.
Sorry, mistakes. It did not work. We're trying to give you like 2 steps ahead.
That's right.
Get us telling the old war stories and gather children as we tell you the stories of Parks and Rec. But we want to
leave a good foundation.
That they understand, hey, it's okay to make mistakes, but these are some of the things that we learn. Like, go ahead and start like one step forward or 2 steps forward than where we were, because we're from way back in the day where all we had was a box of index cards, and that's how we registered kids. We didn't even have a computer.
Oh.
So we had one phone and index cards, and we could have registered you for anything in the world.
That's right. That's right. And I think for me, the things I did best is when I didn't do it right the first time and I learned from it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just that's you never, a mistake is not a failure. It's just a learning experience that you could go ahead and do better on. So no, it's good stuff. So guys, I appreciate y'all being on. Kelsey, Charles, I appreciate your time. I hope you guys had a good time. I did. And I knew this was going to be a fun show. So I look forward to seeing you guys soon. And thank you for spending some time with me this afternoon.
Thanks for having us, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
You got it. Take care now.
All right.
Bye.
All right. That was a good one. Again, they are doing it. Kelsey, Mears, Charles Ryan doing an amazing job up there in Marion County, Florida. Very, very diverse Parks and Rec department, as you heard. And again, leaders in the field for sure. So at the end of the day, this profession is about people. It's about passion, as you just heard, and purpose. Parks and recreation professionals are essential to public safety, to community wellness, to overall quality of life in every county, city, park district we serve. Smart technology will never replace the Parks and Recreation leader, but it will empower them to focus on what matters most: improving operations, increasing efficiency, enhancing safety, and better serving their communities. So I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching today and following the DPRS network. Jovi, if you could go ahead and put on our DPRS calendar, I'm going to talk a little bit about each show. And real quickly, there it is. You see we have a great lineup. Basically, we are talking everything Parks and Rec, leadership and young professionals. Craig and Jonathan host those shows throughout the week. We talk sports and athletics with Aaron and Jordan. Recreation programming and arts and parks. Beatrice, Patricia, Rebecca host all those shows. Facility maintenance, military recreation with John. I mentioned Wes earlier with Aquatic Life. We have shows about parks and your health with Thomas White. young professionals. That sort of is a group effort of a host from the network and a bunch of up-and-coming rec leaders. They go ahead and meet and talk about things happening in the field today. It is great tool and resource. So go ahead and check out any of those shows, and all those shows, in fact, and learn a little bit more about the field. We also have a weekly newsletter that you could subscribe to. So go ahead and check it out. Pretty much we're on all social media platforms. So, do a search, find us, whatever one you use, like us, share it, subscribe to it, and follow Smart Parks Forward, my show, and the Daily Parks and Rec show as a whole. All right, next episode for Smart Parks Forward is going to be July 13th. We're going to take the little holiday break here, and it's going to be July 13th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My guest for that show is the Parks and Rec director from Cedar Park, Texas, Mike DeVito. So I'm looking forward to talking with him and seeing what's happening over in Texas. So I want to thank Jovi and Kathleen and Carlo, the team behind the scenes here at DPRS, and the entire DPRS team and network. And I want to thank everybody over at Outdoor Link for supporting this show. If you're interested in Outdoor Link, the smart controllers in our service, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, go ahead and reach out to me. You'll find me on LinkedIn and other social media platforms, or you can reach me through the Outdoor Link website. With that being said, again, my name is Dave Ramirez. Thanks for watching today. And remember, Parks and Rec is essential. Have a great day.
This episode is brought to you by SDSU's Sports MBA program. If you're passionate about sports and want to work in the women's sports industry, then this is the time to pay attention. SDSU's program is 12 months accelerated hands-on learning where students have actually gotten to work with teams like the San Diego Mojo, partnered with the Farmers Insurance Open, and visited headquarters like the Upper Deck or Callaway Golf. It's built for people who want to be in rooms like that. So if you're interested, deadlines are approaching. Learn more or apply with the links in the description.
In the parks and recreation industry, attention is limited, but influence is everything. Every day, thousands of parks and recreation professionals make critical decisions. Decisions on infrastructure, programs, technology, and vendors. The question is your brand part of that conversation? DPRS Media Network was built to answer that question. We are a dedicated media ecosystem focused exclusively on the parks and recreation industry in the United States. Through a network of daily and weekly shows, we inform, connect, and influence this audience. Our distribution spans multiple platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, plus email campaigns, newsletters, podcasts, and live event coverage. This is not a single-channel strategy. It is a multi-platform media engine. Today, our network reaches over 214,000 connections, including 51,000 on LinkedIn, 64,000 on Facebook, nearly 40,000 email subscribers, and thousands more across podcast and social platforms. While some audiences overlap, our true value is not just reach, it is relevance. We speak directly to parks and recreation directors, program managers, and industry leaders, an audience that is highly targeted and actively engaged. Through DPRS Media Network, your brand integrates seamlessly into this ecosystem. Through sponsored show segments, targeted advertisement placements, podcast features, and host-read promotions, even custom branded content. Not as interruptions, but as part of the conversation. And we don't just operate online. We attend over 15 major parks and recreation conventions each year, reaching more than 24,000 professionals in person. Through live shows, interviews, and on-site media coverage, we position our partners at the center of the industry. Every piece of content we produce is amplified across our entire network. Multiple shows, multiple hosts, multiple platforms. Your message doesn't appear once, it multiplies. This is more than advertising. It is strategic positioning within a trusted media network built specifically for the parks and recreation industry. If your goal is to reach decision makers, build credibility, and stay top of mind, then it's time to partner with DPRS Media Network. Apply for partnership or sponsorship today. Let's position your brand where the industry is already paying attention.